Hello, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com, and it's another beer tasting video. This is quite an effervescent ale, I'm guessing, just based on the aroma that's coming off it. So, Michael, what is this?
This is a Saison,
Oh, 'tis the
just
season.
in time for your late summer delights. So, the main point, I've brewed a few Saisons, but this one, there's a grain out there that I've always ignored, and I've always wanted to use it, and a Saison's a perfect opportunity to use it. So, this Saison features the use of some Spelt.
Okay, Spelt.
So this is about 72% Pilsner malt, just German Pilsner malt. It's 15% Spelt, 6% flaked oats, and 6% table sugar, just to really lighten it up. The hopping is, it's 30 IBUs worth, but just under an ounce of sterling hops for 60 minutes. Yeah. And then just like almost an ounce and a half of sterling, 10 minutes to go in the boil.
Yep. Okay.
And another thing that's a little bit different about this Saison versus any other one I've brewed, this is the Cellar Science dry yeast Saison, which I've been wanting to try too. I've been really enjoying the Cellar Science line of yeasts, and this time this did not disappoint. So I'll give you the mash regime real quick.
Okay.
So I mashed this baby at 149 Fahrenheit for a good strong 50 minutes, and then I let it ramp up. I was using the Brewzilla, so I let it ramp up to mash out at 168 and held it there for another 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It was a fairly long ramp time, so so I went through those different rests. The starting gravity on this baby was 1066, and the finishing gravity on this baby was 1.004.
Yeah.
So it's a little over 8% ABV, which is a little bit strong for a Saison. But you know what? No, not really. Let's just enjoy it for what it is. So, and I didn't do anything special for the fermentation here. I actually just let it go ambient in my basement. The time was about 70 degrees when I started it, but the basement was about 74 when it finished. So I didn't do any magical like warming it up. Yeah. So I just wanted to see how well Saison yeast from Cellar Science would perform, and there you go. If you guys want to know a little bit of the water, it's 75 ppm calcium, 5 of magnesium, 41 of sodium, 109 of sulfate to try to crisp up those hops, 131 of chloride. So it's a 1 to 2 chloride to sulfate ratio. So it's sort of in the middle between malty, hoppy. So that's it. There you go.
How many volumes of CO2 do you think
this is? Just my standard amount. This is actually, it's probably a little higher, but it's, maybe 2.5 volumes. It's not like, I probably want to carbonate this a little bit higher for a true spritzy Saison experience, but
I think it's spritzy just as it is. You don't have to tell. I thought you may have tried to carb it up a little higher, but it's got quite their persistent head. I don't know, like I was sipping this, and I was just watching the bubbles just float up to the top.
So,
beautiful.
My kegging setup, I mean, I've got two different fridges. I could put this on its own regulator, but this is currently in a keg with another beer, so if the line is split, I really don't.
We've talked about that on the channel.
But yeah, no, it's actually pretty well covered.
Yeah, it's really, and it's really dry. I mean, clearly from that finishing gravity, you could tell that, but even before you told me that, I was like, well, that's a great note. For sure.
The dryness really drives drinkability of almost everything you do. So,
and not a lot of harsh yeast character. Getting a lot of, I was looking up just notes on Saison, just trying to like get the fruit down. It's always like kind of lemony, citrusy. That's present, and there's not a lot of peppery. What I think is kind of can be harsh yeast character. That's not there. If you didn't tell me this was 8%, I'd be drinking this like it was.
This one. If I didn't get in that final gravity and we're sucking this down, it would absolutely sneak up to you. This is one of those almost strong Belgian beer type categories that, if it's done right and it drinks really well, you're gonna sort of put yourself in a weird spot at some point.
Be surprised
with the
later.
ABV. Yep.
Yeah.
So it's good. I'm glad you noted the lemon note because I love that in a Saison. And it's just got a very little bit of like a black pepper spice thing that's also playing well with the Sterling hops too, right? So I don't think I've used Sterling in a long, long time. But in this, I'm really happy with the way the Cellar Science Saison yeast played out in this one.
Yeah. I think Sterling, what I know of it, like I usually use like Saison in these type of beers, but I think it plays really nice.
Yep. I don't know. I can't speak to whether the Spelt, that was the main point of the experiment in the first place.
I was going to ask you about that.
But I think the overall, the grain quality of this, it's a little bit grainy, which is what Spelt is supposed to give you. I mean, but I'm just more impressed by the yeast character and the dryness to really make any type of deductions on how well the Spelt came through. But then that being said, the combination of Spelt, Sterling, and that yeast, I don't brew a lot of Saisons because they don't always really come out in a way that makes me want to crave them. Yeah. But this one, since I tasted the initial, I was like, wow, it's going to be great. And it is really good. So to me, this Saison, for me, if I brew a Saison again, I'll just do this again. There's no reason to futz around with this. The only thing I might do is maybe pull the table sugar out of it. Yeah. Just so it's not 8%. Because it went really dry. I didn't need the table sugar. It went really dry. So if I could knock that down to like 1060 or 1058 in OG, it might be closer to like 7%, 6%.
So tell me more about the yeast that you used. It was one packet of that dry yeast?
One package.
And that's it?
Of Cellar Science Saison.
Wow.
They make all their yeast really easy to remember. So it's Saison.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So yeah, absolutely great.
And that's the other thing about, I think some of those Saison DuPont strains that they'd say like, oh, you got to make sure that you heat it, like warm it up because it kind of poops out before it finishes and all that stuff. But clearly that's no longer the case with some of these other strains.
Yeah, and I don't know if this one is more French leaning or more Belgian leaning, but it certainly produces Saison, what I'm expecting out of a Saison.
Right on. Yeah, I agree. So, all right, I'm not going to finish that because, we
got work to do.
We do have work to do. In any case, that is Mike's Spelt Saison. Not sure what the Spelt brought us outside of some graininess, but it all came together. All came together with the yeast strain and the Sterling hops. Check out the description. We'll have the recipe if you're looking for it, and give it a try. I think that, again, dry yeasts, when they come out with more and more varieties, it's easier to make beer. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We do this kind of thing every single week for John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. Brew on.
Cheers.